I've been having conversations with both people at work, which I shall no longer do, and people online, videos, comments, Facebook, which I might no longer do either. Uh, Probably going to contain it on YouTube. So, a little bit of a drama and a learning curve there. But in this, I guess I've kind of developed a theory as to why or how could someone believe in the Invisible Man, have faith in the invisible, and not have faith in the physical, science in particular. And I was watching Appleseed Alpha a couple nights ago, anime cartoon. If you're into that at all, I'm quite sure some of you, Mark, have seen that. My kind of thing. And in it was a cheesy plot device in the film, and I could see it, of course, a mile away. But in it, the main cyborg, Briarios, brain kind of fried, is a super cyborg that in previous movies could do amazing things, super fast, target dozens of people at once, and amazing. But in this movie, he was damaged, and he didn't have the capabilities that he normally did. And one of the scenes, it relates, don't worry. In one of the scenes, a 2-bit mechanic was trying to fix it, and he was running down a list of all the systems that were malfunctioning. And in there he said, well, with all these systems malfunctioning, there may be a single cause, and it snowballs or dominoes from there, causing all these other issues to crash. And then, of course, he got called away and had to do stuff, so he never got repaired. Later on in the movie, spoiler if you haven't seen it, he runs into somebody that is able to pull out his system and take a look at it and determine that his cooling system software had malfunctioned. He just threw that away, and then he put it back in, and then everything functioned great. So it was that one little kernel of faulty, damaged information that was causing every other system, essentially, or most other systems, to malfunction and not work properly. I hope you get where I'm coming around with this. I have friends that are fundamentalists. I have adversaries on the internet that are fundamentalists, and the arguments are ridiculous, and they seem to see them as gotchas. They will state obvious falsehoods as if it's gospel, and they won. They have ideas in their heads, one in particular, that atheists commit more crimes than religious. You can Google this stuff. Those stats exist. You can see whether they do or not. And as probably everyone that's watching this video knows, they're not. If you take the same kind of issue, computer issue, going back to Appleseed and relating it to computers, if you have a computer that has if then, if this happens, then that, if this, then that, and that's essentially a computer. It runs through all that. If you have something right at the base in the core program that says if 2 plus 2, then 6. Everything after that process will become skewed. The program will either crash, it will spit out nonsense, or it'll spit out something just fucking weird that may or may not sound true, or may or may not follow, may not be exactly right. I mean, just a skewed, and it depends on what area it's computing. If it's just computing straight math, it's going to be the wrong number. But if it's computing a picture with lots of colors, the colors might just be a little bit off. So with people, we are just biological machines running programs. And as children, our sense of what is fantasy in our minds, stories, information people tell us is true versus what we see is true is very blurry. And there's an evolutionary reason for this. If your children don't take to heart most of what you say, don't touch that, it's hot. And then they learn, ouch, it's hot, because they're always going to touch something hot. But they hear it, and then they do it, and there's some click. They understand that what you're saying is for their protection to a large degree. But if the same parents teach them that there's an invisible wizard in the sky that's watching them, and that if they do something bad, they will burn in hell forever and ever and be tortured. Or if you tell them angels are protecting you, you have a special purpose in life. You've been chosen. You are the chosen. You, because you believe this, are better than them because they don't. You're programming this little bit, this tiny trusting program, and you're putting in garbage data. You're adding to their core false information. And that's taken at a level that's not even conscious any longer. As they grow up, they're having to deal with real life. Driving cars, they see there's accidents, so they click their seatbelt. They learn that they have to look both ways because the angels don't actually protect them with that. In their core, they still believe in angels and sky wizards and all this fantasy stuff. But as they move through life, you discover that there's some things the angels just can't help you with because apparently either you don't pray hard enough, you don't believe enough, there's always some reason the angels aren't protecting you as their chosen one because of accidents. Or God, the wizard, works in mysterious ways, so you were supposed to be hurt. Or you're supposed to have a loved one lost at war, or whatever excuse there is, you start making excuses because in your core programming, you have some data that's corrupting the colors of every other display. I've been wrestling with how someone can be fairly intelligent, be able to have a conversation, even be able to argue to a certain degree, though not very well usually. And that's one of the things that's kind of tainted it. They always think they're arguing really well. And half the time with people that I'm having discussions with or argument with, half the time in my head I may look confused and like I'm trying to figure something out, or I'm trying to process what you're saying because I'm trying to fucking process what you're saying because it's not quite right. It's good enough, but I can sense that it's been colored. And so going back, and it kind of reminded me of watching that Appleseed. Kind of reminded me of what I've been experiencing, and which led me, into psychology, where they always want you to tell me about your mother. And I'm starting to see, not with necessarily tell me about your mother, but yes, tell me about your mother, but how psychology, going back and understanding how your core programming developed and where your programming conflicts started. Not necessarily telling you what to think, but to see when somebody told you something and the direction you took from there. Just kind of a slight epiphany I thought I would share. Peace.